This person loves you in silence because this connection is sacred. Carl Jung. There's someone in your life right now. Maybe it's someone you see often. Maybe it's someone you haven't spoken to in a while. Maybe it's someone who crossed your path only briefly, but left a mark so deep you still think about them when you're quiet enough to listen to yourself. And here's what I want you to sit with for just a moment. That person, they think about you too. Not in a casual way. Not in the way we think about someone we had a nice conversation with once. I'm talking about the kind of thinking that happens at 2 a.m. The kind of thinking that sneaks in during a regular Tuesday when nothing is supposed to remind them of you. And yet, there you are in their mind, taking up space. But they've never said it. And they probably won't. Not because they don't feel it, but because what they feel is so big, so overwhelming, so sacred to them, that saying out loud feels like it would somehow break it. Carl Jung, one of the greatest minds in the history of psychology, understood something about human beings that most of us spend our entire lives trying to figure out. That the most powerful connections we experience aren't always the loudest ones. That sometimes the deepest love a person carries for you is the love they protect with silence. Today, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about this person who loves you quietly. We're going to talk about why they do it, what it means, what Jung would say about the sacred nature of this kind of bond, and what, if anything, you're supposed to do with all of this. So if you've ever felt a pull towards someone you couldn't explain, if you've ever sensed that someone carries feelings for you that they've never voiced, stay with me, because this video was made for exactly where you are right now. Let's start here. Have you ever been in a room with someone and felt something shift? Not because anything was said, not because anything happened, but just because they were there, and some part of you became more alert, more alive, more aware of yourself? That's not your imagination. That's not you being dramatic or romantic or overthinking things. That is your psyche responding to something real. Jung called the unconscious mind the seat of everything we feel, but cannot yet put into words. He believed, and spent decades of research confirming, that human beings are connected on levels that go far beyond what we consciously understand. We are not just individuals walking around in separate bodies. We are beings with an inner world so vast, so layered, that most of it remains hidden even from ourselves. And when two people with deep unconscious resonance come into contact with each other, something happens that neither of them fully controls. Think about the person I'm describing right now. The one who loves you in silence. When you're around them, do you notice anything unusual? Maybe there's a softness in how they look at you, a pause before they speak, when it's your turn to talk. Maybe they laugh a little differently around you. Maybe they remember the strangest, most specific little things you once mentioned in passing. These aren't accidents. These are the fingerprints of someone who holds you in their interior world, which, according to Jung, is the most intimate place a human being can hold another person. Because here's the thing that most people get wrong about love. They think love is something you declare, something you post about, something you announce. But Jung understood that love, in its purest form, is something you carry. It's internal. It's private. It's the daily practice of holding someone in your thoughts, your prayers, your silent wishes. And sometimes, the person who loves you most is the one who will never say it directly. Not because they're afraid. Well, sometimes they are, but because what they feel has become something almost holy to them. And you don't shout about holy things. Now I want to go a little deeper with you, because not every connection feels this way, right? Most relationships are comfortable, familiar, easy to understand. But then there are these connections, the ones that don't follow the normal rules, the ones that feel bigger than logic, bigger than timing, bigger than convenience. Jung had a name for one of the most mysterious forces behind these kinds of connections: synchronicity. Synchronicity isn't just coincidence. Jung defined it as a meaningful coincidence. Two things happening at the same time with no logical causal link, and yet perfectly undeniably connected. You think of someone and they text you. You dream about a person you haven't seen in years, and the next day, somehow, they show up. You're going through the hardest thing you've ever faced. And a stranger says exactly the words you needed to hear. These moments aren't random. Jung believed they are the universe, or more precisely, the collective unconscious, showing us where our attention should go. And when this happens repeatedly with the same person, when the coincidences stack up, when you keep being pulled into each other's orbit no matter how much time or distance stands between you, that, according to Jung, is a signal that this connection exists on a level deeper than the conscious, everyday self. It's a signal that something in your psyche and something in theirs recognize each other. He called this kind of recognition the meeting of the anima and animus, the inner masculine and feminine archetypes that every human being carries inside them. When you meet someone who reflects your inner archetype back to you, when you encounter someone who embodies qualities that live deep in your unconscious, the recognition is instant, it's electric, and it's not something you can manufacture or force. It just is. The person who loves you in silence, they felt this the moment they encountered you, and it scared them. Because feeling something that big, something that doesn't fit neatly into the categories we've been taught to use for relationships, is disorienting. It's not like a regular crush. It's not like a normal friendship. It feels significant. It feels like it means something. And when something means something that deeply, most people don't know what to do with it. So they go quiet. They hold it. They guard it. I want to be real with you for a moment, because I know there's a part of you that wishes this person would just say it. Just be honest. Just show up and tell you how they feel. And that's completely valid. But if you can step outside that feeling for just a second, I want to help you understand what's actually happening inside someone who loves in silence. It's not cowardice. Not always. Sometimes, often, it's something much more complex. Jung talked extensively about what he called a shadow, the parts of ourselves we hide, repress, or refuse to acknowledge. The shadow contains our fears, our wounds, our unmet needs. And one of the most common things people store in their shadow is a belief that love, when fully expressed, will be rejected. Think about that. This person looks at you and what they feel is so real, so overwhelming, so deeply meaningful to them, that the idea of expressing it and having you not feel the same way feels unbearable. So instead of risking that pain, they love you from a safe distance. They love you in the way they show up when you need someone, in the way they remember details about your life that even your close friends forget, in the way their eyes find yours in a crowded room, in the way they never quite leave, even when they probably should. This is what Jung would call projection, not in a negative sense, but in the sense that they are projected onto you a significance that is both real and layered with their own inner world. You have become, for them, a symbol, not just a person, but a meeting point between who they are and who they have always longed to connect with. And that's a lot to carry. It's also a lot to express. Because how do you say to someone, "You are significant to me in ways I don't fully understand yet. Being near you makes me feel something I've only ever felt in dreams. And I'm terrified that if I say any of this out loud, you'll look at me like I'm strange, and then I'll lose even the silent version of what we have." You don't say that. You just stay close and love quietly and hope that somehow they know. Let's talk about the signs, because I want to help you see this person clearly, not through wishful thinking, but through the lens of psychology and human behavior. The first sign is consistent, gentle attention. This person doesn't love loudly, but they love consistently. They notice when you're tired before you said a word. They pick up on shifts in your mood. They remember the random thing you said 3 months ago about your favorite song from childhood. This level of attention isn't accidental. It's devotional. And most people don't devote that kind of attention to people they don't deeply care about. The second sign is physical proximity without pressure. They find ways to be near you, but they never crowd you. They never demand anything from you. There's a gentleness to how they occupy your space. Like they're grateful just to be close, with no expectation of more. Jung would say this is someone who has learned to honor the boundary between their inner world and yours. Someone who respects the sacred nature of this connection enough not to force it. The third sign is protective energy. When something goes wrong for you, this person feels it. They may not always know how to help. They may not say the perfect thing, but you can feel that they care, almost uncomfortably so, like your pain becomes their pain. This is one of the deepest markers of unconscious connection, the dissolution of emotional boundaries. Their nervous system is wired into yours in a way they probably can't even explain to themselves. The fourth sign is the quality of silence between you. Silence with most people is awkward. You feel the need to fill it. But with this person, silence is comfortable. It's warm. It means something. Because when two people are connected on a deep unconscious level, they don't need constant words to feel close. The space between the words is already full. And the fifth sign, maybe the most telling of all, is that they stay, not because they have to, not because it's convenient, but because something in them refuses to let you go completely. Even when life pulls you apart, even when timing is terrible, even when there's no clear path forward, they stay on the periphery of your life like a quiet reminder that some connections don't care about logic. I want to bring it all together now. Jung believed that certain connections between people are not accidental. They are part of what he called individuation, the lifelong process of becoming who you truly are. And in that process, certain people appear who are essential to your growth, not because the relationship is easy, not because it's perfect, but because something in their presence calls you to go deeper into yourself, to confront parts of yourself you've been avoiding, to grow in directions you hadn't considered. A sacred connection, in Jung's framework, isn't defined by how it looks from the outside. It's defined by what it does to you on the inside. Does being around this person make you more yourself? Does thinking about them stir something in you that feels ancient, like a memory from before you can remember? Does their existence in your life, even at a distance, push you toward becoming a truer version of who you are? If yes, then this connection is sacred. And sacred things are not always meant to be fully expressed in the conventional way. Sometimes, a connection serves its purpose precisely through what is not said, through the longing, the wondering, the quiet growing that happens in the space of an unspoken bond. That doesn't mean you should do nothing. It means you should be present to it, aware of it, grateful for it, because not everyone gets to experience a connection that moves at the level of the soul. Most people go through life having relationships that stay comfortably on the surface. If you're someone who has felt the depth I'm describing today, who has sensed the pull of love that exists beyond words, you are experiencing something rare. Honor that, even if you don't yet know what to do with it. So here's where I want to leave you. Maybe you started this video thinking about one specific person. Maybe your mind, when there faced a moment, I said the words, loves you in silence. And if it did, I want you to trust that. Your psyche brought that person to the surface for a reason. Jung would say, pay attention, not obsessively, not in a way that paralyzes you, but with curiosity, with openness, because the unconscious doesn't highlight connections randomly. When someone shows up in your thoughts with this kind of frequency, with this kind of weight, it means something. It might mean you have unfinished business. It might mean there's something about this person or about yourself in relation to them that needs to be acknowledged. And here's what I'll say about the person who loves you in silence. They are not loving you from a place of indifference. They are loving you from a place of reverence. And reverence, in its truest form, is one of the rarest things one human being can offer another. So if you feel that from someone, if you sense that someone holds you with that kind of care, maybe the most powerful thing you can do isn't to demand that they say it. Maybe the most powerful thing is to let them know, in your own quiet way, that it's safe to be known. Because the connections that happen beneath the surface, the ones Carl Jung spent his life trying to understand, don't need grand gestures. They need something simpler. They need two people who are brave enough to stop pretending they don't feel what they both clearly feel.